sludge develops on the walls of the intestines. The intestines, if we took my intestines out now, it would stretch way down halfway into that neighborhood. The intestines are extremely long because we're not meant to be meat eaters, we're meant to be vegetarians. The meat eaters have very short intestines, like the tiger, because it does meat will putrefy in the intestines. Putrefy means it gives off byproducts such as uric acid and also other dangerous, let's say, substances that will end up in your bloodstream, and it causes havoc in the body. The other thing is, when the sludge builds up in your intestines, you do not digest properly. So that's one major reason of people being overweight. They're eating a lot, but they're not really getting much nutrition. And because of that, the body forces you to eat more, because the body didn't get its necessary nutrients, because number one, you might be eating denatured food, number two, you might not be digesting properly. So you feel hungry all the time. Whereas if you have a clean digestive system and you're not overloading it with undigestible foods, then you eat high nutritional foods, quickly your body gets its needs, you don't feel hungry, and you digest easily. So the one reason why there's an obesity epidemic in the United States is because of people eating undigestible foods and mixing foods in an improper way. Okay, so now our millet is cooking pretty fast. We maybe lower the heat somewhat. Slow cooking is the best. And slow cooking in a ceramic crock pot is probably the best way to cook your food. Slow cooked food always comes out better. Okay, now we're going to make our roti toast. Okay?
Which flour?
No, we're going to mix them. So you can't use an oily grain in this. It'll destroy it. It'll ruin it. So you can only use dry grains that don't have oil. Like, for example, you can't put flax seeds in here. That would ruin it. Okay. So we're going to put some millet.
We have wheat also.
Is this wheat or sorghum?
Yeah. This is wheat, yeah.
Soft white wheat.
It's a soft white wheat.
Okay, but before we get to the soft white wheat, we're going to put some quinoa and amaranth. Amaranth, what's the name of amaranth in India?
Rajgira.
How about in South India? Amaranth.
No, what do you use in Ekadashi? The Rajgira.
We use Sam, like already you are right? That's not Sam, I don't know.
Sam.
This is amaranth. Yeah, what do you call it in South India? We call it Rajgira. It's not it's not used. Samo is different from this.
All right, well, whatever. This is called amaranth. It's actually a non-grain, but it has a lot of protein in it, as does millet, as does quinoa.
Millet won't be flowing.
What?
No, I mean this.
I think so. Okay, let's put this first. So we're going to put some millet here. No, I don't think it's oil. Really, all seeds have some oil.
Yeah, but not like.
Yeah, it's not a seed, it's a fruit.
Just put this.
That's all. So we're going to make a multi-grain roti. So this is
Be ready to take off on an airplane, because the way it will sound like, goes up, and then when a plane lands, that's how that's how you
The
land.
sound.
Okay, and then we put some. And this is some wheat. You always have to have some wheat in the roti mix because the gluten makes it stick together. Although there's a certain amount, there's a little bit of gluten in other grains. Wheat has the most of it. Okay, go ahead. So hold your ears.
This makes it sound like a vacuum cleaner, but it goes on for a while. So here you have these settings, like if you want fine or you want it coarser. So I just usually
Oh, that's not bad.
but in the house,
Actually, in a bigger, yeah, and in a smaller house, it's
it depends on the grain, but I think 4 or 5 minutes will be done here. So every morning I just turn it on, I get the flour, and then we make the
Okay, get this to it. Get this thing away. You put that there. Put it. Okay, now, our carbohydrate meal is grain, it will be millet, a sabji, and a salad. And if you want more, you can have a baked potato or baked vegetable. That's called a carbohydrate meal. And you notice, it's very simple. It's just 3 or 4 things. That's another thing that promotes health. Not eating too many different things at the same meal. Just a few highly nutritious things. Highly nutritious, you can understand why white rice is not highly nutritious. Because they take the germs out of it. In other words, if you plant white rice, it doesn't grow. But if you plant this whole wheat berry, it will grow. If you plant organic whole rice, it will grow. If you plant white rice, it doesn't grow. If you plant pearl millet, this is not pearl millet. If you plant pearl millet, it will not grow. You have to get whole millet. Now, we're going to demonstrate oilless cooking. So, what you do is you put a bed of tomatoes. Okay.
So you understand, he speaks so fast. Like his CPU is like 3 gigahertz, and you are at 1 gigahertz.
Okay, take this to the... Yeah, it's soft a little bit. Okay, that's a little bit. Okay, now, where our milk is cooking slowly. Now next, this is a mixture of flax seeds and fenugreek. This is very good for helping digestion. And you soak it. If you soak it and then leave it for a couple of days, everything sprouts. So I did that, and I made my mix. Well, yeah, let's call it a drink. And I put a lot of cinnamon in it. You can also put elachi, and then water. Actually, I used milk. Because milk has a lot of calcium. So this is a great thing for your kids, or for everybody in the family. So you can all taste a little bit of it. What? You taste this, you'll see. When you sprout the fenugreek, some of the bitterness goes away. And of course, you put enough honey in it, you won't notice it's a little bit.
Are these sprouted potatoes or?
Yes, they're all sprouted.
They sprouted and then the
Yes.
mixture is made. Okay.
Yeah. So this is good for health. And then the other thing you can do also, this is done traditionally in the villages in Bengal. They will soak triphala powder in water overnight with gur. And then the next day, they'll drink that during the meal. That also is very good for digestion and cleaning out the intestinal tract in a natural way. So you could also put triphala powder in here. Is it bitter?
It's not bitter for kids. Interesting.
Yes, it's interesting,
Did
right?
you add something for sweetness, Prabhuji?
What?
Did you add something for sweetness?
Honey.
Honey.
Okay. Best is raw honey. Yeah. And now I put milk in this. I didn't put water because milk has a lot of calcium and other good things. And I put milk from our farm, which is even better.
So which is the right quantity to give to kids? Like half a cup or how much can they give at all?
You know, it depends how big the kid is. You know, a little kid, they don't need much. Half a cup or less.
How much should we get when they're regular?
It's good. Take one.
You want babies?
Start right from scratch.
So the flax is also sprouted.
Somewhat. Somewhat.
I have one question.
Yes.
Is electric cooking better or a gas cooking better?
I did say that using an electric crock pot is best, slow cooking. But if you're really cooking on electricity here, it's not much difference. You know, not much difference. It depends on what your pot is. You know, in India they use wood and they use clay pots. That's probably the best. But you can use stainless steel. But if you use the crock pot, it's a ceramic crock pot and it's slow cooking. So that's the best. But you have to be a little patient.
They say like if we keep this on heat for a long time, we will lose its nutrition. How is slow cooking?
Yeah, but crock pot is very slow heat, very low heat. It's not a high heat. It's the high heat that breaks down things. Or microwave is the worst.
Pressure cooker also will make it out.
Pressure cooking, you know, it's steam. It's pretty hot, but the steam, it's okay.
It's okay because
You don't steam it too
heat is
much.
very fast, but at the same time temperatures and pressure will be too high.
Like I said, slow cooking is the best. Whether it's a crock pot or whether it's on your gas or electric stove. So, was it bitter? No. Okay. And you can put other things in it. But this is good for digestion and good for many other things because you have the omega-3 essential fatty acid, and fenugreek is #1 thing for purifying mucus in the body. #1. And secondly, it's one of the best things for diabetes and controlling blood sugar. So it does a lot of good things for your body. I've written a whole pamphlet on it. I've given lectures on fenugreek. Yes.
You mentioned soak it for a couple of days.
Well, you don't have to. I mean, this was only soaked for some hours, but what you got here, this was soaked for about, and this was sprouted for at least 4 or 5 days.
How frequently should we take it?
How frequently? I take it every day. You can protect it from catching colds. It supplies the essential fatty acids. It helps kill the blood sugar. And above all, it will purify mucus in the body. Every day you produce about 1.5 quarts of mucus. Mucus protects your stomach lining.
How much do you want?